Hi everyone, welcome to Talk Easy. Today, Catherine and Mike will help you master the difference between the present simple and present continuous. Learn when to use I work every day versus I am working right now. Let's dive in.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Excited to be here.
Today we're diving into something you hear and probably even say all the time without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about idioms,
Oh,
but not just any idioms. These are the ones borrowed straight from the world of sports.
that's right.
You know, like hitting it out of the park or...
Oh, yeah, being a team player.
Exactly.
So many good ones.
And it's fascinating how these phrases have become such a natural part of our language.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. We're not just going to rattle off a list of sports idioms. We're going to go deeper, really unpack what these phrases reveal about how we think about responsibility and achievement and even fairness, like the bigger picture stuff.
I like it.
So to kick things off, let's start with one that I'm sure everyone's heard at some point.
Okay.
The ball is in your court.
Oh, classic.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's all about understanding where the responsibility lies, at any given moment.
It is, isn't it?
It's like that crystal clear moment in a tennis match where the ball lands on your side of the net.
Right.
It's undeniably your turn to act.
I love that visual.
Me too.
It's so clear.
It is.
It's like, okay, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
You're up.
So tell me, have you ever been in a situation, maybe at work or even in a personal relationship, where you felt like you were waiting for the other person to make a move?
Oh, all the time. I think everyone has right.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you've done your part, you've laid out your ideas or made your request, and now you're kind of just waiting to see what they'll do.
Totally.
And sometimes it can be frustrating, waiting for that ball to come back over the net.
Yeah, it really can.
But that's what that idiom is all about, right?
Hey.
Recognizing when it's someone else's turn to take action.
Makes me think of those times when you've maybe sent a really important email and you're just like refreshing your inbox every 5 seconds, waiting for a response.
Well, yeah, been there.
Or maybe you're in a negotiation and you've just laid out your final offer. You say something like,
All right, well, the ball's in your court now.
exactly. It's like a polite way of saying, hey, I've done my part now. It's up to you.
It's a subtle shift in power, isn't it?
I think so.
It's not aggressive, but it does put a little bit of pressure on the other person to respond.
It does. And you see this idiom used all the time in business, in diplomacy, even in personal relationships.
Oh, for sure.
It's really become this universal way of acknowledging that, okay, now the responsibility is shifting.
Right.
But it's not just about waiting passively.
No, it's not.
It's about recognizing that even when the ball is in someone else's court, you still have a certain level of agency.
That's a good point.
You can still try to influence the situation, even if you're not the one taking immediate action.
Yeah, like you're not just sitting on the sidelines waiting. You're actively thinking about your next move.
Yeah, man.
Strategizing.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's about choosing the right moment to serve that ball back over the net, to make your move.
Oh, I like that analogy.
So it's not passive, it's strategic.
Right. It's about choosing your moments wisely and understanding the flow of the game.
Love it. Okay, so we've tackled responsibility, but what about those moments when we absolutely crush it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about those hit it out of the park successes,
Yeah.
where you just exceed all expectations,
Right.
achieve something truly remarkable.
Yeah, it's that feeling of not just winning, but like winning spectacularly.
It is. Like hitting that game-winning home run
Yes.
in the bottom of the ninth.
That's it.
Everyone's going wild.
It's such a powerful idiom because it captures that feeling of exhilaration and accomplishment.
For sure.
And it's interesting how this phrase gained traction way back in the 1930s and 40s, when baseball was like the sport in the U.S.
It was huge.
And it's kind of stuck around ever since because it just perfectly symbolizes that idea of extraordinary achievement.
Totally. It's become this timeless expression of success.
It has.
And, it's not just limited to sports anymore.
No, not all.
You hear it everywhere these days.
Yeah.
In the business world,
Oh, it's
and personal development,
motivational speeches.
everywhere. It's all about pushing those boundaries
Yes,
and achieving something truly exceptional.
it is. And it's so fascinating how this idiom has moved beyond the sports arena.
Right.
It's used to motivate employees to go above and beyond, to celebrate creative breakthroughs, to acknowledge any kind of achievement that just blows people away.
Totally.
And, it's interesting to think about how this idiom plays out in pop culture, too. Like, remember that scene in the movie Moneyball
Oh, yeah. Great movie.
where Brad Pitt's character, Billy Bean, he uses data and strategy to build this incredibly competitive baseball team
Right.
on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
And when his team goes on that amazing winning streak, defying all odds, it's like the ultimate hit it out of the park moment.
It is. And it shows that it's not always about individual brilliance.
Right.
It can be about teamwork and innovation and achieving something that nobody thought was possible.
Absolutely.
And, it's not just in movies either.
Yeah.
You hear motivational speakers using this phrase all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's become a staple in their vocabulary.
It has.
It's all about inspiring people to reach their full potential.
Right. So I'm curious, have you ever thought about a time when you really hit it out of the park?
I have.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be some huge public achievement.
Yeah.
It could be something small.
Right.
But it's that moment where you just nail it.
You
You
do.
go above and beyond what was expected, and you just feel that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. And it's a great reminder that we all have those moments.
We do.
It's just about recognizing them and celebrating them.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered responsibility with the ball is in your court. We've talked about achievement with hitting it out of the park.
Right.
Now let's shift gears to an idiom that's all about fairness,
Uh-huh.
level playing field.
Ah, yes. This one is so important because it goes way beyond sports.
It does.
It's about ensuring that everyone has a fair shot at success.
Exactly. It's about removing those obstacles and biases that can give some people an unfair advantage over others.
And it really highlights how the language of sports has become intertwined with our understanding of broader societal issues. Because if you think about it, a literal uneven playing field would make any game completely unfair.
Absolutely.
Like imagine trying to play soccer on a field where one side is constantly running uphill.
Oh, man, yeah.
No matter how skilled they are, they're already at a disadvantage.
Right.
And that's why this idiom level playing field has become such a powerful metaphor for fairness and equal opportunity in all areas of life.
It has. You hear it in the discussions about education, about healthcare, about
Yeah.
economic justice, anywhere where people deserve a fair chance to succeed.
Exactly.
And it's become central to so many conversations about social equality,
It has.
whether we're talking about access to quality education or healthcare, or even just fair treatment under the law.
Right.
This idiom reminds us that everyone deserves an equal footing.
Absolutely. It's about creating a world where success is based on merit and effort.
Yes. Not on privilege or circumstance.
And of course, creating a truly level playing field in the real world is incredibly complex.
It is a complex issue.
It's an ongoing challenge.
For sure.
But recognizing the concept and striving for it is a crucial first step.
I completely agree.
And it makes you think about those playing fields that we encounter in our own lives.
Oh, yeah.
Like, are there situations where we might unknowingly benefit from an uneven playing field? Or where we can advocate for more fairness and equal access for others?
Those are great questions to consider.
They are. Because it's all about being aware of those systemic advantages and disadvantages and doing what we can to level the playing field as much as possible.
And that's what this idiom is all about.
Right. Okay, so we've covered 3 powerful sports idioms so far. The ball is in your court, hit it out of the park, and level playing field.
3 great ones.
And we're just getting started.
I can't wait to hear more.
Me too.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
It is.
There are so many more fascinating sports idioms out there, each with its own unique story and insight to offer.
We'll be right back after a quick break to dig even deeper into this world where sports and language collide.
Stay tuned. We're back and ready to dive into some more sports idioms.
Yeah, we've been exploring how these phrases from the world of athletics have kind of snuck their way into our everyday conversations.
They really have, haven't they?
And it's amazing how these idioms often reveal deeper ideas about how we approach challenges, how we work together, even how we deal with setbacks.
Right. Like take the idiom, drop the ball, for example.
Ooh, that one's a tough one.
It is, isn't it? It's interesting how that phrase evokes such a strong sense of disappointment, even blame.
Oh, I know. Like you can practically feel the weight of the missed opportunity
Yeah.
when someone says you dropped the ball.
Right. Like you really messed up.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, did you really drop it or did life just kind of throw you a curveball?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Because sometimes things happen that are truly outside of our control.
Absolutely. And the idiom itself doesn't really distinguish between those intentional mistakes and those unavoidable mishaps.
Right.
So maybe it's worth thinking about how we use this phrase.
Yeah.
Are we genuinely trying to understand what went wrong, or are we just kind of pointing fingers?
That's so true.
Because it's easy to use that phrase, drop the ball, to oversimplify a situation.
It is.
Like imagine a coworker was supposed to finish a report, but their kid got sick and they had to stay home.
Right.
You know, saying that you dropped the ball in that context feels kind of harsh.
It does. So maybe instead of jumping to judgment,
Yeah.
we can use those drop ball moments as opportunities to learn, to adapt, to offer support.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that everyone makes mistakes.
They do.
And sometimes those mistakes lead to unexpected growth and new opportunities.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about the potential pitfalls of dropping the ball.
Uh-huh.
But now let's shift gears to an idiom that's all about energy and enthusiasm.
All right. I like it.
Game on.
Oh, yeah. There's a certain excitement to that phrase.
There is.
It's like flipping a switch and saying, all right, let's do this.
Exactly. And I feel like you hear this one a lot in situations where people are about to embark on a challenge.
Right.
Whether it's a competition, a creative project, or even just a really busy day.
Yeah, like you're mentally preparing yourself to give it your all.
Yes.
And it's interesting how game on has this dual meaning.
Mm.
It can refer to the literal start of a game, of course.
Right.
But it can also be a more general signal that things are about to get interesting.
Right.
That we need to be alert and engaged and ready for anything.
It's like choosing to actively participate in life rather than just passively observing.
Well, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about being present and in the moment.
Totally.
Like I might tell myself game on before a big presentation. Not because it's a competition, but because I want to bring my A game.
Right.
My full focus and energy to that moment.
Exactly. It's about adopting a proactive mindset.
Yes.
And I think that's something we can all benefit from, whether we're facing a literal game or a metaphorical challenge.
Absolutely. Okay, now for an idiom that's always high on the list of desirable qualities, especially in the workplace.
Okay, let's hear it.
Team player.
Ah, yes. The glue that holds everything together.
Right.
It speaks to the importance of collaboration and putting the needs of the group ahead of individual ego.
It's about understanding that everyone has a unique role to play.
Right.
And that everyone contributes to the collective success.
And, it's not just about being agreeable or going with the flow.
Right.
It's about actively communicating.
Yeah.
Sharing ideas. Being willing to both lead and follow.
Right.
Depending on what the situation requires.
Exactly. And it makes me think about a basketball team. One player might be amazing at scoring, but if they don't pass the ball, they're not going to win the game.
Such a good analogy.
Right. And it highlights how being a team player is really about that synergy you get when everyone is working in sync towards a common goal.
It is. And it's interesting how this idiom extends beyond sports and workplaces.
It does.
Like being a team player is also important in families, in communities, even volunteer groups.
Oh, absolutely.
It speaks to that fundamental human need for connection and belonging.
It does.
We're social creatures. And when we work together effectively, we can achieve some pretty remarkable things.
We can.
So we've explored the potential pitfalls of dropping the ball. The energy is saying game on.
Right.
And the importance of being a team player.
We have. And this deep dive isn't over yet.
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
Already.
We've got a few more thought-provoking sports idioms up our sleeve, each offering a unique perspective on how we approach the ups and downs of life.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So stick with us as we continue to explore this fascinating world where the language of sports and everyday conversation collide. We're back for the final round of our deep dive into sports idioms.
I'm ready for more.
Me too. We've uncovered so much already about how these phrases shape our thinking,
Yeah.
about responsibility, achievement, teamwork.
It's amazing how much we can learn from these simple sayings.
It is. But before we wrap up, there are a few more gems I want to unpack.
Okay, let's hear 'em.
So are you ready for some more thought-provoking idioms?
Bring it on. I'm all ears.
All right. Let's start with one that I think we've all experienced at some point.
Okay.
Blindsided.
Ooh, yeah, that one hits close to home.
It does, doesn't it?
It really captures that feeling of being caught off guard.
Right. Like you're going along thinking everything's fine, and then, bam, Something totally unexpected knocks you off course.
It's the worst.
It is. And it's interesting how this idiom evolved from its origins in contact sports.
Yeah.
Where a player might literally be tackled from their blind spot.
Right.
Now, we use it to describe any situation where we're surprised by something unpleasant or challenging.
Makes sense.
It does. Whether it's a sudden job loss or a health scare or even just a friend betraying your trust.
Yeah.
Those blindsided moments can really shake us up.
They do.
And while it's impossible to anticipate every curveball that life throws at us, I think this idiom reminds us of the importance of staying aware, adaptable, and maybe even a little bit skeptical.
That's a good point.
So it's not about being paranoid,
Right.
but maybe just having a healthy dose of realism.
I like that.
Not assuming that everything will always go smoothly or that people will always act in our best interests.
Yeah, it's about being prepared for the unexpected.
Exactly. And cultivating that resilience and flexibility to navigate those unexpected challenges.
Right. Because they will inevitably arise.
They will.
Life is full of surprises.
It is. Okay, so what about those times when we do get blindsided and we need to find a way to bounce back?
Okay.
That makes me think of the idiom, roll with the punches.
Oh, yeah. A classic. That one's all about resilience, adaptability.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being able to adjust our strategy on the fly.
Like, imagine a boxer skillfully absorbing blows without being knocked down. That's the essence of rolling with the punches.
I love that visual.
Right?
It's like that saying, it's not about how many times you fall down, it's about how many times you get back up.
Exactly.
And I think this idiom is especially relevant today when things are changing so rapidly,
Yeah.
both personally and professionally.
They are. It feels like we're constantly being thrown curveballs.
Right. So being able to roll with the punches is almost essential for survival.
It is.
It's about not letting those setbacks define us.
Right. It's about learning from our mistakes and coming back stronger.
Okay, so we've talked about being blindsided and rolling with the punches. But for our final idiom, I want to focus on the spirit of striving for excellence.
Ooh, I like it.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Bring it on. Go for the win.
Yes. I love this one.
It's so motivating.
It is. It's about setting ambitious goals, pushing boundaries, and not settling for anything less than what we're capable of achieving.
It's about believing in ourselves, taking risks, and persevering even when things get tough.
And sometimes winning doesn't look the way we expected.
That's true.
Maybe it's not about crossing a finish line first,
Right.
but about learning from our mistakes, growing as individuals, and making a positive impact on the world around us.
Exactly.
So it's about defining success on our own terms
Yeah.
and pursuing those goals with passion and determination.
Well said.
So there you have it. We've explored a whole lineup of sports idioms today.
So many good ones.
From understanding responsibility and fairness to embracing challenges and striving for excellence.
It's been a fun journey.
It has.
And, these phrases might seem simple on the surface.
Yeah.
But they really offer a fascinating glimpse into how the language of sports has shaped our thinking.
And how it continues to influence how we approach the game of life.
Absolutely.
So keep an ear out for these idioms as you go about your day.
You will start to hear them everywhere.
You will.
Yeah.
And pay attention to how they're used, what they reveal about the speaker's intentions.
Right.
And how they might inspire you to navigate your own challenges and triumphs.
That's a great takeaway.
And that wraps up another deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, always go for the win.